I'm going to talk today about how to short Bitcoin, Ethereum, other stuff on Fantom using hundred.finance. So right now Bitcoin is trading around 37,300. I don't know if this is actually a good short setup. It's getting better, but just for example purposes, we'll do a small short. So right here I'm looking for it to hit the previous low around 35.5. I'll set my stop a little bit above kind of the previous support, which is over here, somewhere around here, around 37.5. We'll give it a little bit of room to breathe. Now this is just me. This is just setting up a trade. This has nothing to do with what we're actually going to do on chain. We're using hundred.finance and DEXs to execute the trade. So obviously I'm not going to set a stop loss on chain on the exchange, but just for, you know, the reason I'm doing this, my expected target, where I feel like I'm done with this trade stop wise. You can see all that. So this is for Bitcoin. We'll go over to hundred.finance here. As you can see, I've got 2,000 DAI supplied into hundred.finance. I have it set as collateral. What that's going to let me do is go over here to Bitcoin, where you can see there's $3.7 million of liquidity, and I'll borrow 0.02 Bitcoin, about $750. The liquidation threshold is 80%. So if that Bitcoin, almost doubles, then I would get liquidated on this trade. But there's no cost of borrowing, which is really cool. So we'll go ahead and borrow. Pay a little bit of gas, and what we're getting is kind of wrapped BTC on Fantom. So while that executes, can wait a second, and let's look at this on chain real quick. All right, so we can see here we've got $750, $740 of Bitcoin. Okay, great. We're not short yet though. What is the point? All we did was just borrow Bitcoin and it's going down. So then what we'll do is we'll go over to a swap, maybe spooky swap. Go to swap. We'll swap BTC. And we'll swap it for DAI. We'll swap the max. So we'll receive 733.6. Obviously there's a little bit of a fee. There's going to be some slippage. And we've got to pay some gas here. So we'll go ahead and approve that. Now it's approved. Whoops. Great, approved. And then we'll go ahead and actually swap it. So what did we do here? We borrowed wrapped BTC using our DAI supplied on hundred.finance as collateral, a healthy amount, 2,000 to borrow 750,000, or 2,000 to borrow $750 worth Bitcoin. And then we turned around, we sold that Bitcoin for 744-ish, 745-ish. DAI. So we can check that out, see exactly what we got. 744.25. Great. So if we go back over to 100, you can still see here we borrowed 0.02 BTC. So effectively right now we're short BTC, right? I owe 0.02 BTC to 100, fully collateralized by my DAI deposit. And when Bitcoin goes down, hopefully to around here, this would be about 7%, I think. 6 or 7, what does it say? Oh, 5%. So if it goes down 5%, then I'll unwind this trade. What I'll do is I go back over to Spooky, right? And then I'll buy 0.02 wrapped BTC, hopefully for, if it's 5%, then that would be, 710 DAI, and hopefully have made, $40. Obviously this is just an example. You can decide whether or not the gas is worth it to you and all that type of stuff, but it's a really cool way you can short using DEXs and using hundred.finance. I'm sure you can use other services as well, but hundred.finance has 0 APY on BTC right now, so that's really nice. And you don't have to worry about high APY from a centralized exchange. Everything's happens on the blockchain. The only problem is, like I said before, you can't use a stop loss or anything like that. So BTC goes up to 37,750. I'll probably give it a little bit more breathing room than that. I like to have a risk-reward ratio of at least 3. I'm looking for this support right here that's in this area, so this is somewhat healthily above that. You'll have to have the mental fortitude to actually take that loss. But yeah, super easy to do, relatively low gas fees on Fantom, and no dealing with centralized exchanges.